What's up, everybody? Hello and welcome to another night of Dirty Old Bastards racing action live on twitch.tv/elbowsuptv. Coming at you tonight from the virtual Knoxville Raceway. We are back to normal racing action here. "67 degrees at Knoxville here tonight, so that is going to preserve our track. The warmer it is, the more the track wears. So that should keep our racetrack better longer. As I said, we are back to normal racing action now. Last two nights, we have been running the 2019 Four Crown Nationals. And after two nights of racing, and the four winners took home victory, we jump into the DOB Wicked Cushion Woo 410 Wing Sprint Car Series. Live on Elbows Up TV, live on the DOB Facebook page, live on the DOB YouTube page. Currently watching Alex Bergeron, who sits P1 in hot laps. Bergeron, of course, the reigning iRacing World of Outlaws champion. Ernie Williams Jr. chasing him on track. He is second quick in hot laps. Williams is known for his Knoxville prowess. He will be a man to be reckoned with here tonight. It's a 35-lap feature at the Knoxville Raceway. So plenty of fun to championship standings after one race look like this. Adam Elby. Sorry, after two races, Adam Elby is up 14 points on Alex Bergeron. Elby has taken home one victory. Bergeron has taken home one of his own. Chris Roberts is in third. Ernie Williams Jr. in fourth. And Jacob Fields currently scored in the fifth position, 44 points back. He's tied with Cameron Merriman as well. So those are the guys that are currently running high in the point standings, ones that you can keep an eye on as we get going here tonight. 40 seconds left in our hot lap session before we get to what could be qualifications or a random pill draw, which will take us into our heat races. Looks like we've got about 50 cars signed in. Got a lot of sprint car drivers ready to do battle here tonight. After this race, we will have the DOB 305 League. That is the entry series into the Dirty Old Bastards Racing Leagues. And we will have a qualification session here tonight, and we are hitting the track now. Let's check out Mr. James Edens, the Swindell Speed Lab driver. One of my favorite paint schemes that we see in DOB competition, the Rick and Morty scheme from James Edens. Edens disappeared there for a moment as we stuttered. Edens laps 16.075, provisionally 6th at the moment as times roll in. Alex Bergeron just ran a 1:5.888 to go P1. Let's see what Edens has this time. He used lap number 1 on the top to get his momentum up. Lap 2 was a 1:5.933. He's still going out there. I don't think he has another lap. Braden Eiler currently P10. Craig Dunn P4. Let's see who else is out here. Kevin Hanley currently sitting P2. Blake Majulis out on track. Ooh, that's a nice looking paint scheme there. Brand new digs for Blake. Rolling through here, looks like Adam Elby has gone P6, Kendall Tucker P7. A lot of the Swindell Speed Lab guys here tonight. Ernie Williams Jr. P18, still chasing Alex Bergeron, who holds quick time at the moment. Majulis was P7, and time runs out for qualifications, and we will get ready for heat race number 1. Everybody loading in now. Looks like we're going to have a 4-car invert for the heat races. So now rolling with heat race number 1. Starting lineup is going to look a little bit like this on the pole. In the 005 Kinzer Sim Team machine is Braden Eiler. And to his outside in the ABR number 22, Jason Nygaard. Ryan Scheidt in the 010 and Alex Bergeron. Little new paint scheme on his ABR machine. Quick time here tonight. The reigning, defending, undisputed, universal champion of iRacing sprint cars. Cameron Merriman and Matthew Williams will be row number 3. Sean Timmerman and Timothy Bolander, row 4. Tyler Grafton and Bob Curtis will round out our field. 10 laps to distance. Top 4 will advance to tonight's A main. We've got 5 heat races coming your way. Then we'll get to the D main. Eiler going to fire him off of turn 4. Nygaard trying to hang tough as the champ will be coming. Alex Bergeron already hitting the bottom of the racetrack where he does his best work. Past Ryan Scheidt, trying to work to the inside of his teammate, Jason Nygaard. Right now, Cameron Merriman working the bottom side of the racetrack as well. It is Sean Timmerman who is currently the odd man out at the moment. There was a car on the inside wall there. That's Bob Curtis. Not sure what happened to him. Get back into this battle as Merriman fighting off Williams. Timmerman putting some pressure on Ryan Scheidt. Alex Bergeron puts the slider on his teammate Jason Nygaard. Nygaard going to do the over-under. Nearly caught Eiler there as well. Here comes Bergeron around the outside. Got the move on his teammate. Dives to the inside of Braden Eiler and will take the lead with a slide job. Eiler trying to get to that preferred line. Had a little bit of contact there with Nygaard. It really hurt Nygaard. Bergeron on the outside of the track, just too powerful for Braden Eiler right now. Eiler settles into second place. Let's check in with Jason Nygaard, who has been knocked back to 7th. Very unfortunate contact with Eiler, costing him valuable positions. Caution flag will wave here. I had my eyes off the screen and missed something. Let's back this up, see if we can find out what happened. Coming off a turn 4 into 1 here. No, maybe I backed it up farther than I thought. There, we're coming off a turn 4. Anybody? I really don't know. Looked kind of like a NASCAR caution to me. So, we're going to line them up and start this bad boy off again. That's going to be good for Jason Nygaard. He's going to have a chance to put a run on these guys. Matthew Williams not showing up in our graphic, currently sitting in 6th. Cameron Merriman is holding on to the 4th and final transfer position right now. Alex Bergeron, who was fastest in qualifying, has passed all the cars he needed to pass to get to the front. Remember, the winner of heat race number 1 will start from the pole in tonight's feature. And every position that you gain is worth 5. So the difference between finishing 3rd in this race and finishing 2nd in this race is 5 positions in the feature. That's 5 cars you don't have to pass when it comes time to play for all the marbles. So, very important. What's even more important, you don't want to find yourself in those lesser mains. If you can get that 4th and final transfer off of Cameron Merriman right now, you really want to do it badly. We've seen sometimes the D and C main only transfer like 2 cars. And then you get to the B and they're taking 4 or 8 or whatever. We're not going to take 8 tonight. But you want to try to get in if you can. Wow, we had a problem with Ryan Scheidt there. Man, he was able to recover, but his restart did not look all that great. Here comes Cameron Merriman. This is a green-white checkered finish. Oh, that was Nygaard. Turned around on the backstretch. He is off the track. No caution. White flag is out now. Here comes Timmerman. Sean Timmerman up the inside trying to take that position. He smacked in to Ryan Scheidt and took it away. Sean Timmerman coming home in 4th. Bergeron, Merriman, Eiler, and Timmerman. Can we back it up and get a view of this? No, we can't. Okay. We went through here. Let's see, Ryan Scheidt. Can I? Here we go. Yep. Just straight into the side of Ryan Scheidt, who is probably not very happy. Man, he flipped all the way down the backstretch. That was a wild one. Not a happy boy is Ryan Scheidt, I guarantee it. So, starting lineup here for heat race number 2 looks a little bit like this on the pole in the 10. It is Skylar Brown, and he's got Curtis Merriman to his outside. Blake Majulis in the Swindell Speed Lab machine, which is freaking gorgeous, man. Look at that paint scheme. I love it. I love it. It's got that late model feel, too. You can tell in the numbers. You get the fancy numbers. Kevin Hanley is to the outside of Majulis there in row number 2. Mark Broderick and Michael Klinkelfuss. Row number 3, Tim Berner and Matthew Henninger. Row 4, and rounding out your field is Randy Rockwell. James Tiernan scheduled to be in this race, but is not loaded in. He didn't take a qualifying lap either, so probably something going on there with Mr. Tiernan. Maybe we'll see him later in the evening. Skylar Brown gives him green off of turn number 4. Boy, Majulis got a fantastic start. Merriman's got a lot of momentum down the backstretch. Going to take a look on Majulis, who protects that inside line pretty aggressively. Merriman able to get back up top before he loses any spots. He's probably not the biggest Blake Majulis fan right now. Mark Broderick up the inside, trying to take the 4th and final transfer off of Kevin Hanley. Unable to do so far. Out front, Brown still controlling this race. Majulis trying to utilize that slider line to catch him. He is reeling him in right now. Whoa, we got a problem. It's Broderick. Upside down the front stretch. He was racing for 4th with Kevin Hanley. Something happened here. Let's find out what. Boy, just hopped the cushion. Tim Berner sent him flying. That car just did not react the way he wanted it to on the high side of the racetrack, and that took Mark Broderick out of this heat race and out of contention for an automatic berth into tonight's feature. Now, the man on the outside looking in is Michael Klinkelfuss in 5th. Kevin Hanley holding on to that 4th and final transfer. Blake Majulis now going to be right on the tail tank of Skylar Brown. If you notice, I think I'm actually coming down with a bit of a cold. So I'm trying to give that soft, sexy tone to my voice here. That way I don't get too crazy. Of course, I'm always going to get excited and yell it out. But you might get that fake radio voice tonight. The stream is absolutely skipping Peyton. Normally we see that clear up after heat race number 2. If you've not been watching in recent nights, this very well could be our last stream here on Elbows Up TV with the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League. I have been unable to fix the streaming issues, and I have recommended that they find somebody else to do it. We are in negotiations. We're trying to make sure that we get the right fit for the new broadcaster, and then you guys will have a clean stream. But we've thought that it would be much better to show the race even with some problems than it would be to not show the race at all. So I am filling this seat until we get somebody in here, and then we should have a nice clean stream all throughout the night. But this could be my last one. Skylar Brown gives him green off of turn number 4, working lap 9. It's a natural green-white checkered coming your way. Blake Majulis on the outside. Curtis Merriman once more utilizing that momentum off of the cushion to propel himself into 3rd. Michael Klinkelfuss trying to follow him here, but you can see Hanley's got a handful of car links on him. Boy, Hanley got a really good run there through 1 and 2. Here comes Skylar Brown. Majula's going to head to the outside. Looks like Skylar Brown's going to come off of 4 and win. Majula's got all crossed up. Drag race to the line that I think Merriman won. So should be Merriman's second, Majula's third, and Kevin Hanley in fourth. Zane, we have adjusted graphic settings. We have adjusted stream process priority. We have adjusted from the hardware to software side. We have got advanced encoder settings. We have port forwarded. I have a huge list that could go right on down on everything that we have messed with, and we have been unsuccessful. I think there's some sort of an issue on the hardware side, and quite frankly, it's just not in my budget, either time-wise or monetary-wise, to make any adjustments. This was a thing that we did. We brought these broadcasts in-house for the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League, who was without a broadcaster at the start of last season. And we said, well, we don't know if we can do it, but we're going to give it a shot. And to be honest with you, we had these problems 3/4 of the way through last season, or for 3/4 of last season. But we thought that it was internet related and would be fixed when I made my move, which I have moved, got great internet, and still having problems. So one of those deals. But we're going to get you guys a broadcaster that can show everything without the issues. And like I said, yeah, see, here we go. So the stream has stabilized. Should be good until we get ready for the 305 race. For whatever reason, from hot laps to heat race number 2, it's just junk. So, Ernie Williams Jr. in the Black Diamond number 91 will start on the pole with Mike Keegan, Team SETI driver, to the outside. Alexander Balducci and Swindell Speed Labs James Edens, row number 2. Anthony Lepresto and Jordan Hack, row 3. Bo Brunig, Tyler Hinselman, row 4. And Nicholas McGathy will round out your field. Ernie Williams Jr. going to give them green coming off of turn 4. Problem with that, Zane, is it's more expensive. You know, you got 2 guys involved that need paid rather than one. Ernie Williams Jr. out to a fantastic start. He got to the top side of the track. James Edens trying to battle around Mike Keegan so he can set his sights on that 91 machine. Here comes Edens with the slide job. Keegan's going to have a big run ahead of steam down the backstretch. Got a little crossed up on exit, which allowed Edens to stay close, who's going to dive down in front of Balducci. Take another shot at Keegan, upside down behind them. Not sure who that is. We're going to stay with the leaders until we see a yellow flag. No yellow flag coming out. Nicholas McGathy was the driver who had an issue. So he is out of this battle. Balducci now falling back into the clutches of Anthony Lepresto. Lepresto looking to the inside to take the 4th and final transfer. He's going to slide up in front of Balducci, who's going to try to battle back. Let me give a shout out to Alexander Balducci. I must say, one of the most improved racers from what we saw at the beginning of last season to the beginning of this season. This guy has put in a lot of work and is very, very fast, especially early on in the night. Doing fantastic things, but right now he is 5th and needs to get back around Anthony Lepresto to find his way in. Jordan Hack looking to the inside of Balducci to try and take that spot away and set his sights on the top 4. James Edens trying to reel in Ernie Williams Jr., and to be honest with you, I think he's doing it. Edens was 0.2 faster than Williams on that last lap. See Williams disappear for just a moment. Look at the run Edens has on him down the backstretch. James Edens to the inside for the race lead in turn 3. He's going to slide up and leave Williams room. Fair play. Edens totally gone there for a moment. You can see leaving room for the 91 really cost him some time. So at this point, he's going to try a different line coming off on the bottom there in 3 of 4, which worked pretty well, to be honest with you. Eden's going to try to stick the bottom, see if he can find his way around and into the inside second row of the feature, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Ernie Williams Jr. will win. James Eden second, Mike Keegan third, and Anthony Lepresto will come home in fourth. What team is it that Balducci runs for? Is that... I see Dustin talking about Twisted Motorsports in the chat. Is that it? I apologize for not knowing. Most of the Twisted cars have graphics pretty big on them. Got a lot of people hanging out with us in the Facebook and Twitch chat here tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you. Listening to the soft and sultry tones of a man who is clearly losing his voice and needs to cough very badly. Our starting lineup looks like this. Dawson Hess in the 257 Ultimate Dirt TV machine will have the 21P of Shea Paolo to his outside, elbows up SimSport driver. Adam Elby in the 74 Swindle Speed Labs machine will start side by side with Team SETI's Craig Dunn in the 57. Jacob Fields and John Lepresto will start in row number 3. Richie Preston and John Lowe, row 4. And rounding out your field is Mike Henninger and Stephen Calavoda. I'm having a good time, if you can't tell. Okay, so Dustin Helms saying that Balducci is a Twisted Motorsports driver. Twisted Motorsports been running real good here recently. Like I said, Balducci's been real strong. Chance Sikowski been running very, very well with Dirty Old Bastards as well. So both of those guys really coming on strong. Dawson Hess gives him green. He is bringing Adam Elby with him. Shea Paolo did not get the start that he wanted, and he is now under fire from the 007. That is Jacob Fields to the inside. See Craig Dunn trying to fight back on the outside to take that fourth and final transfer spot back off him. Adam Elby slid in on Dawson Hess. Dawson was able to recover, crash. Lepresto and Dunn on the backstretch. We'll have to see who was leading this race when the caution flag come out, but let's back this up and see what happened. All right, so you know, that's just one of those deals, man. You know, they're driving down the back stretch. The turn 2 gets pretty tight. I feel like they got caught up. I'm going to refrain from finding blame on one of those guys down the back stretch. You know, sometimes stuff happens. Is this the Elbows Up ASMR stream? Sounds like a golf match. Yeah. Hey, I got the different styles and skills. I don't normally do the fake thing. You know, I normally stick to my own style. It's like, you know, they have those contests on who can do Johnny Gibson the best. And I mean, I do really good impressions, but then you don't want to be an impersonator. That's not, you know, do your own thing. But obviously Johnny Gibson stands alone as the top man in the business. I don't care what level it is. For me, he's the best. And he, you know, announcers are somewhat of an acquired taste. I know there's probably plenty of people out there that say I'm a little over the top, which, you know, by all means, you're entitled to your opinion. There's some people that think that I'm great just because they like that sort of exciting style. I'm definitely more on the side of Mexican soccer announcer than I am or an English soccer announcer, but that's why we have fun. But you know, I can pull out a little book reading, whatever we need to do. Obviously, I'm in a good mood tonight, so I might do all sorts of stuff. Adam Elby going to give us green, working lap 6. Elby through the slick there, didn't get off the line like he wanted to. Dawson Hess holding on to second place right now. Shea Palo in third. And right now it is Jacob Fields holding on to the fourth and final transfer spot. Behind them, Richie Preston is fighting off John Lowe and Steven Calavoda, but there's Calavoda going to slip by. He's still battling. And now Preston has to give way. Calavoda, who started last in this race, is now 6th, looking to get to the outside of John Lowe, and he's got to catch Jacob Fields in a hurry. Fields is pretty quick and putting some pressure on Shea Palo, however, so it's not likely that Calavoda is going to be able to make that run in a lap and a half. Ooh, near problems for Dawson Hess, however. These guys don't want to find themselves in the fence. That'll be exactly what Calavoda wants to see. Palo, whoop! Yep, we just said it. Shea Palo upside down. Adam Elby is going to win. Dawson Hess will take second. Third place will go to Jacob Fields. And the fourth and final transfer will go to Steven Calavoda because Shea Palo is a fence ornament. That cushion is getting mighty, mighty thin at the moment. Brett Wheeler asking if I want help. You're welcome to hop in the Discord, my friend. Absolutely. We are rolling here for heat race number 5. Looks like Zane Scott was unable to get in the lobby. We knew Zane was hanging out in the Facebook chat with us, but apparently he might have got disconnected or something. So lineup's going to look a little different here. Anthony Marvulio will be on the pole, but it will be Kendall Tucker on the outside. He was scheduled to start 4th. He will move up into the 2nd spot. Of course, Kendall, the fastest qualifier in this race, so that is good for him. Mason Hannigan and Chris Roberts will be row number 2. Jeffrey Stewart and Brandon Igo, row 3. John Bragman and Jim Turner, row 4, and Justin Stoltz will be the final car on the speedway. So, Leaf, yeah, the cushion is absolutely gnarly right now. Very thin and rough, and I think these guys are going to start going away from it here soon. We are going green this time by Anthony Marvulio, getting them started here off of turn number 4. Good start by Marvulio. Also a good start there for Kendall Tucker. Tucker goes straight to the bottom. Never even thought about the outside and powers around Marvulio. All of a sudden, the bottom becomes the preferred line, and Marvulio is out to lunch. Currently in third. He's got that transfer. Chris Roberts in fourth. It's Jeffrey Stewart who has to run these boys down and find a way around. He's got Brandon Igo all over his tail tank at the moment. Marvulio slipping back into his clutches. So I'm going to keep an eye on that transfer battle. Kendall Tucker, the race leader, working the bottom side of the racetrack. Mason Hannigan right behind him, the Team SETI driver. Talked about how Jeffrey Stewart had a problem. Not sure what happened there, but he is... I don't know. He was blinking, I guess. I have no idea what happened there. Not sure if that was a connection issue or if maybe he and Igo came together. Something went on there. Marvulio has a large advantage over P5 right now. Whoa, problems for Mason Hannigan. Hannigan around on the backstretch and made contact there with Justin Stoltz. Stoltz, an innocent bystander. Let's really easy for me to see. Let's rewind and see what happened here for Mason Hannigan. Goes into turn one. Just caught out on that cushion, and it flips instantly. Contact with the outside retaining wall flips him instantly. Look, Mason tried very, very hard to get off the track and out of the way. You saw him hit the gas there as his tires hit, which actually drove him into the path of Justin Stoltz. So unfortunately, Mason Hannigan making contact there as he was trying to not. We do have Mr. Brett Wheeler in the booth with us now. How's it going, Brett?
Yeah, we're not doing too bad, actually. Just doing what we can. Woke up. It's a bonus. We're good. How you going?
It's always nice to wake up. The day you don't wake up is, well, we know what that day is. But it's good to have you here. As I was talking, my talking is actually getting a little rough. I think I'm losing my voice here. By the end of the night, I'm sure I'll be sounding like a frog or something of that nature.
It's probably not a good sign that you lose your voice, seeing as you're a broadcaster.
It's like terrible, isn't it? It's like, here's your moneymaker. Let's take it away.
Yeah, it's never a good sign. You got some insurance on that baby or what?
What is the fancy insurance company in England? My goodness, it's I can't believe I'm blanking on that. You'll have to give me a moment and I'll think of it, and then this joke will actually make sense. We're gonna go back green here with a green-white checkered. Kendall Tucker gonna bring us down. Everybody on the bottom side of the track, the top has gone away and gotten a little too dangerous here, Brett.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier on, and when you got heat 5 on the racetrack right now, when you got that bottom side coming back in, you got to wonder how slick is this track going to get, and how dangerous will that cushion get. We got a car around that's Justin Stoltz in the 223, but we're already on the white flag, so it's going to be checkered flag this time by for Kendall Tucker. He's going to get the win here in heat race number 5. Chris Roberts will going to come home in second spot. Third at the line will be Anthony Marvulio. Justin Stoltz is going to fall back to, I think, about the 7th or 8th spot. So Jim Turner will get that 4th and final transfer position.
Unfortunate there for Stoltz, but I do believe that the blinking had something to do with that, because you saw his car blinking out. I don't think that the driver behind him, I think that was Turner, knew where he was. All of a sudden they made contact, and that was it. Too much stagger. Lloyd's of London, that's what I was looking for right there. That would have been great had I remembered that. But Lloyd's of London, of course, insures a lot of goofy things. I do believe at one time they had an insurance policy on J-Lo's butt. But yeah, I'm going to have to look into a Lloyd's of London insurance policy on this voice, and then I'll probably stab myself and cash it in.
You can do that if you like, but I prefer you don't.
Rolling off with our D main, 12 drivers going to hit the track. Looks like 4 will advance to the C. Let's talk about this starting lineup. Shea Palo and Brandon Igo on the front row. Jason Nygaard and Mark Broderick, row number 2. McGathey and Lepresto, row 3. Mason Hannigan, Bob Curtis, row 4. And Mike Henninger, Zane Scott rounding out your field. Now let's talk about 2 guys here, Brett, because Mark Broderick was very quick in his heat race, but got caught up in an accident. And then Zane Scott actually was scheduled to start second in his heat, and I think he was disconnected, so he didn't get to turn any laps. So we're going to see these 2 guys really charge here.
Wow, Zane Scott has actually missed the grid, so I don't know if he's allowed to
Who is
come out onto the racetrack.
That's
Zane Scott has missed.
That is Henninger down there. I was looking at that white car thinking that was Scott, but no, Zane Scott is in the pits as well. So still some sort of issue plaguing Zane Scott, and it's going to keep him out of this thing unless he gets a yellow here on lap number 1. But the way we've been going, you never really know. Shea Palo going to give him green here. Excellent start for Palo. Nygaard's going to follow him through. Brandon Igo like he's got an anchor tied to that thing, and Mark Broderick makes a little contact to make it worse for him. Henninger on the backstretch into the fence, and we have caution number 1, and this is exactly what Zane Scott needed.
Yeah, he should get waved around the pace truck when they get the one to green to him. In fact, he's just going to go by it right now, so Zane Scott might just be thinking he's lucky stars on that one, because had he had that caution flag and not come out, he probably more than likely would have gone a lap down, and that would have pretty much ended his night or ended his chances in trying to run the Alphabet Soup here tonight.
We're watching the replay there, and we saw, looked like Igo just drove through the slick. That car wanted to come out from under him, and behind him was Mark Broderick, who just did not expect him to be going that slow. Made contact with that car, which sent him into Mike Henninger. Henninger got the worst of it. It looks like Igo is still on track, and now Zane Scott is in 7th spot ahead of Broderick, who had to take an end-of-line penalty. You think Zane's going to be able to charge through this field here in what should be, 6 laps here?
There's a very good chance. He knows how to get on the gas. He knows how to get around this Knoxville Raceway, and I wouldn't be surprised if Zane Scott literally drives all over this racetrack to get by as many cars as possible to try and make tonight's C main.
So Shea Palo will give us green this next time by. It is Nygaard, McGathey, and Lepresto. Your men in the top 4 there ready to transfer. Hannigan is the one man on the outside looking in with a shot at 4th place here on this restart. Igo, who started this race on the outside pole, currently sitting in 6th. We'll see if he can change his line here in turn 1 and find his way back up to the front. Working lap 5 here, coming off of turn 4. Shea Palo going to give us green.
The green flag flies here in tonight's D main of the restart. Shea Palo, your race leader. Jason Nygaard works to the outside of the racetrack through turn number 3. Balls. We've got some car upside down. Mark Broderick.
Yeah, more problems. More problems for Igo. Yeah, and Broderick and he came together off of turn 2. And the second meeting was much worse than the first, actually, taking both of those guys out of this race.
Nygaard to the race lead run on the top side. Palo Trying to work back down low through 1 and 2, but Nygaard puts the right rear on the cushion, comes down the racetrack just a little bit on the exit of turn number 2, and you've still got a battle on for the race lead. Paulo runs the bottom side. Nygaard up top. He's got the run on the top side. 7 down, 3 to run in tonight's D-Main.
Fantastic battle for the race lead, and this is allowing John Lepresto to start to make a move here, closing that gap on the top 2. At the moment, it is all Paulo and Nygaard. We look back at our transfer battle. Mason Hannigan has quite an advantage over Nicholas McGathey, who is trying to charge forward. But Zane Scott right now is the man turning some pretty quick laps. We talked about Zane maybe coming forward here. He's up to 5th, but he's got a lot of ground to make up and only 2 laps to do so. Actually, white flag this time.
He's probably going to fall 1 spot shy, but into 3 and 4 for the final time. Nygaard continues to work high through 3 and 4. Nygaard off of turn 4 gets the checkered flag here in tonight's D-Main. Shea Polo home in 2nd. 3rd is going to go to John Lepresto, and 4th in that 4th and final transfer spot. Continuing on their run towards tonight's main event is Mason Hannigan.
It's a good run there in the D-Main. Those are the 4 guys that will travel on into the C here, where we will also take 4 drivers to the B. 12 laps the distance here in our C main. Watching these guys load in now. We saw in the chat FMJ Stewart saying he has so many choice words to say after that heat, but he's being polite. Trying to think what he's actually talking about. Okay, so that was the incident where we saw him have some sort of problem with Igo, and we were talking about whether we weren't sure if he was blinking or not. So if the way he's talking, I don't think that was it was a connection-related issue. But as we know, Brett, it's very easy for these guys to get hurt feelings and maybe a little red under the collar when we come out to these racetracks. It's very hard to make a DOB feature. Everybody wants to do it. And when they come together out there, all of a sudden, the sparks do fly.
It's the only way that things happen around. Not here, in fact, on iRacing in general. I mean, I've had my fair share of blow-ups in the past, and a couple of a few DOB races, albeit I've been put in line, just, cut it out and let's get on to racing. And at the end of the day, we're all here to have fun. Everyone wants to make the feature, but only 24 drivers will make this show. And if you don't make the feature, well, just pack it up and come back next time. It's real simple.
It's true. Now, I'm guilty myself. I've probably said a few things in the heat of the moment that my mother wouldn't have been very proud of, but we continue on. John Bragman and Timothy Bolander on the front row. Matthew Henninger, Bo Brunig, row number 2. Craig Dunn, Justin Stoltz, row 3. Ryan Scheidt, Randy Rockwell, Tyler Henselman, Jason Nygaard, Shea Paulo, John Lepresto, and Mason Hannigan rounding out your field. Let's watch those 4 who come from the D main. They have the most experience on the current racetrack out there right now, so that might come into play. This track was not reset after our heat races, so it continues to get more complicated for these drivers as we go green here with tonight's C main. Bragman got an excellent start over Bolander, who looks to have the same problems that Igo was having. He's dropping back quickly. Matthew Henninger has gotten into the 2nd spot. Craig Dunn into 3rd. And right now, Ryan Scheidt is the man in the transfer position.
Look at Shea Paulo coming through. Started position, I think it was at 11. He's up to position 5. He's 1 spot away from transferring into tonight's B main. So the 101, the 21. I'm just looking at the number on the
right.
It's ATVO, but yeah, he's really got a good chance. He will pick up 4th from Craig Dunn, but Dunn's going to be back around the outside. And look at your top 5 right now. You can throw a blanket over Matthew Henninger to the race lead through turn number 3 and 4. 3 wide right now for the transfer spot.
Oh, we got a race and now we got a crash. Henninger and Paulo come together in turn 1. Those guys were 3 wide for the lead, and that is fairly common to see issues like that. when that happens, let's back this up and watch. We were looking at a fantastic battle for first through fifth, and just like we normally see, Henninger got in to the corner in the slick, and that car stepped out on him, and all of a sudden Paolo was running much faster than he, and the two cars came together and caused a giant issue out front. Henninger relegated to the 4th position now, and Bragman able to hold on to his race lead. But boy, you don't get much better than that in a C main. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that just goes to show you right now what kind of track show or the condition the track is in at the moment. You know, drivers have been able to work the bottom, drivers have been able to work the top side. And you got drivers like Jason Nygaard, who has again come from, I think, position number 10 in this C main, up to what is now one spot out of or 2 spots out of a transfer, I should say. He's been able to run the top side. However, you take a look at the number 22 machine, who sits back in position number 6 at the moment. He did start position 10, so he's up 4 spots in just a couple of laps as well, but no front wing on that race car. That might just hurt it a little bit on the top side.
So John Bragman will give us green this next time by. Lights out on the pace truck. Dunn is going to have the shot at him on the restart. We've already seen some wild racing and some contact, which took one of our fastest drivers out of this race. Like Brett was talking, Shea Paolo from the rear of this field was getting to the front quickly. So off of turn 4, John Bragman on the accelerator now. Done. Got a decent start there, able to hang tough with Bragman there. Bragman a little crossed up on the cushion. That's going to give Dunn a look up the inside. The inside lane seems to be the preferred way around right now, Brett. And Dunn is going to try and work it to perfection as the Aussie contingent heads to the front.
Yeah, straight to the front on the edge of the turn number 2. He will take the race lead down the back straightaway. The battle right now is on for the 4th and final transfer spot. Henninger holding off Bo Brunig and also John Lepresto, Jason Nygaard as well up top. So again, you put 4 cars fighting out for this one final transfer position. Oh, it's going to heat up in the kitchen with 2.5 to run. Nygaard gets into the back of Bo Brunig, and here comes Lepresto to the inside. Henninger tries to shut the door, and Henninger, he's going to fall back. He's going to lose 4 positions on that one, and John Lepresto to the 4th and final transfer spot.
And look at Nygaard, who is doing this without a front wing at the moment. 2 laps left in this race. Right now, it is John Lepresto in the 4th and final transfer. He had to give Henninger a little move out of the way, but it's working for him right now. He's to the inside of John Bragman. Bragman seems to be out to lunch right now and is in danger of missing this race as Bo Brunig spins off of 2. But Craig Dunn off of turn number 4 will win the C main. 2nd place will go to Ryan Scheidt. 3rd place to John Lepresto, and John Bragman will come home in 4th and will transfer on to the B main.
Boy, these drivers really starting to make some desperate moves, but how about Craig Dunn? A cool, calculated drive after that restart, after restarting in that 3rd position. Waste little time in getting to the front, and well, he'll secure one of these transfer spots. And we'll see him come from position number 10 in the B main. So again, we'll take the top 4 from the B main and put them into the back of the A main. And boy, there's some big hitters again in this field.
We're only going to take 4 drivers out of this B main. These drivers will have 14 laps to try and battle their way into that top 4. We've got 20 cars already locked in and only 4 more spots. And I gotta say, this track is creating some pretty serious challenges for these guys. And it's going to continue to get worse and worse as we go forward. We've got so many cars, And just right here, 13 cars going to put 14 laps on this track. So when it comes time for that 2-minute warm-up, this baby's going to be pretty well wore out.
Yeah, this is where the drivers will actually be able to get their chance to, really showcase what they can do here on a slick Knoxville. Yeah, I'd love to be out there on a slick racetrack like this. 360, I love here. When it gets this slick, and 410s aren't much different. So, again, as always, you'll see the cream rise to the top come tonight's main event.
Yeah, Knoxville seems to be the magic track on iRacing. There's not many tracks where you can run side by side, lap after lap, without ever really somebody getting a significant advantage. But if the track is right here, you and another car can just battle it out wheel to wheel. And that's just something we don't see very often on some of the other tracks. Knoxville, one of the favorites, but also maybe a little oversaturated as well, because we do run here quite a bit. But let's talk about this starting lineup. Matthew Williams and Michael Klinkelfuss, row number 1. Alexander Balducci and John Lowe, row 2. Jeffrey Stewart, Tyler Grafton, row 3. Tim Berner, Jordan Hack, row 4. Richie Preston and Craig Dunn, row 5. And then Ryan Scheidt, John Lopresto, and John Bragman will round out our field. As we said, 14 laps the distance. Top 4 will advance. Matthew Williams going to give them green here. And we'll see who can get to that preferred line. We'll see if that preferred line starts moving around. These guys know the bottom has been quick, but they are wearing it out every time they hit it. Here we go. Williams giving them green. Into turn 1, we've got one car up on the fence. Looks like he got it straightened out. Michael Klinkelfuss having trouble and dropping back. That second place starting position seems to be a curse right now, Brett, and it's biting Klinkelfuss as well.
Yeah, it's just that outside starting hard as we go yellow, as we have got Tyler Grafton slowing down the front straightaway along with Richie Preston. Just missed that one. It was Tyler Grafton in the number 62 machine who had contact with John Bragman in the 017 out of turn 4.
An innocuous little challenge there, but definitely caught Grafton out, causing that caution to wave in the early going here of tonight's B main. You can see there, we were talking about the problems with Klinkelfuss. Down 3 positions to 5th. He might not be too upset about this caution, however. This is going to give him a chance to clear his head, get straightened out in that seat, maybe make a few wing adjustments, and try to start attacking these cars instead of defending right now.
Yeah, with the single file restarts, it takes away that outside line, getting that horrible jump. So, again, because this racetrack is so slick from top to bottom, on those initial starts, as soon as a pace truck pulls off, as soon as you reach a certain point coming out of turn 4, the leader can fire at any time. So you put 6 cars on that outside row in the slick in the middle, they can't just get hammered down on the throttle, because they do that, they're just going to spin around, they're just going to take out the rest of the field. So they've got to be easy on getting on the throttle, whereas the drivers on the inside line, they've got that bit of moisture coming off the turn down on the front straightaway. That gives them the advantage. So right now, if I want to start anywhere, I want to start on that inside line.
Absolutely right. And we're talking about pro-level competition here, the best in the business. These guys know exactly how to do it. And you will see those guys, they'll hug that inside lane, and as soon as those tires come off of the black and into the moisture, they'll give it green. And as we saw, the second place starting position has just been a death knell at the moment, because they're right in the middle of the slick, and they're at the mercy of the leader anyway. It's just been very tough. Williams, however, going to start on the outside and duck down here off of turn number 4. Williams gives him green. Got a good start over Balducci. All of those cars start to head to the bottom side of the racetrack. You can see John Lowe and Jeffrey Stewart, who hold on to the 3rd and 4th positions at the moment. They're actually about a half a lane to a lane up, trying to find some moisture that maybe anybody else on the racetrack have missed. Right now, working for John Lowe, who's fighting it out with Balducci for second.
Lowe's actually running right through the middle there in turn number 3 and 4. He's going to make the move into second position. And that might be the line for this B main at the moment. And John Lowe, he is leading that charge through the middle. Your race leader down into 1 and 2. Williams is running the low side of the racetrack. So again, he's going to have company here from John Lowe in a couple of laps time. But Lowe does a fantastic job through the middle. Balducci, I'm surprised he hasn't, gone up a little higher on the racetrack and just followed John Lowe, considering, he lost that spot to John Lowe by running the bottom side.
Let's keep an eye here a few cars back because Craig Dunn and John Lopresto are coming forward. At the moment, they are running 6th and 7th. It is Jeffrey Stewart in 5th and Ryan Scheidt who holds that 4th and final transfer. But Craig Dunn is on the move to the inside around Stewart. Stewart fighting back. But these two drivers going to give it their all to try and get up to that 0-1-0 and take away that 4th and final transfer. We're only taking 4 to the A, and the laps are winding down here. Things are about to pick up in tonight's B main. Craig Dunn now to the outside of the racetrack. These guys are really searching around, trying to find whatever they can. I know here in a moment we're going to fire up that 2-minute warm-up, and all of our A main feature drivers are going to be trying everything they can to make a plan for tonight's feature. But right now, Craig Dunn just wants to be in it.
I feel sorry for Balducci here. I think Balducci's going to be the one car or the first car to miss out because Scheidt and Craig Dunn have both carried a whole lot of speed throughout this B main. As Scheidt makes a move to the inside, Dunn as well. He tries to go through the middle, trying to make that pass. They come to the white flag this time by half a mile to run to see which 4 drivers are going to make tonight's main event.
Dunn to the inside of Balducci. He's got the moisture on the low line. Balducci trying to do the over-under. He gets to the inside of Dunn, but Dunn with the momentum is going to take the 4th and final transfer down the front straightaway. Craig Dunn from the rear of this field has made his way in. He won the C main, and now into tonight's feature. John Lowe was the man who won. Matthew Williams in 2nd, and Ryan Scheidt coming home in 3rd as we go to our 2-minute warm-up.
Just on that as well, Ryan Scheidt actually come from position 11th as well, so he finished 2nd in the C main. He was able to follow pretty much lead the way with Craig Dunn. Those drivers from the C, they drove up through the field into the B, and now they're going to have their work cut out for them because now they're going to come from positions 23 and 24 in tonight's main event. Again, it's a whole different field. It's a whole different ball game right now from the B main compared to the A main.
It absolutely is. And we do want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that Wicked Relief Gum is your daily dose of CBD in the form of a chew. Each piece is 10 milligrams of CBD and absorbs 5 times faster than other products. Whether it's pain, inflammation, anxiety, or insomnia, Wicked Relief Gum offers quick and easy relief. Just go to wickedgumcbd.com and use code DOBRL for, get this, not just 10%, 20% off your order. Special deal running right now. Use that code and get 20% off your order and free shipping on race days. That same DOBRL code also works on wickedenergygum.com for a boost of energy and focus as well. And if you're curious, CBD is a hemp product, no THC involved. You will not fail a drug test, and it is absolutely everything that it is marketed to be. I recommend that highly, and use that DOBRL code right now for 20% off your order. Special deal offered by Mr. Henninger here tonight. We've got 14 seconds left in our warm-up session. Sean Timmerman is the man with the fastest lap in the warm-up. Looks like Jacob Fields is 2nd, Kendall Tucker 3rd. So those are the guys to watch in the early stages here. But like we said, Brett, this track is going to change immensely as we go through our 35-lap feature.
Oh, it's already changing right now from the drivers that went out there. A lot of the drivers were already trying to take that high line away, by running that cushion up top. So, they just had 2 minutes to pretty much tear up that top side. And, we've seen even drivers, work low and work through the middle. So, this 35 lap main event, this is going to be one to remember.
Looking forward to this one. We got everybody loading in. Look, here's the thing. The top 6 now starting to load in. There were last-minute adjustments coming in fast and furious. When you see these guys waiting, they're trying to figure their cars out. James Edens is still not on the grid. James Edens, of course, one of those drivers known for his setup prowess, and he is using every second that he has to make the right adjustments. Now loading in with only 8 seconds left was James Edens. So definitely trying to make sure that his car was prepared for tonight's feature, and that's what you got to do. Every little adjustment counts.
It really does. You really got to make sure you're on your A game, especially when you got the best of the business, especially starting towards the front. You got Alex Bergeron, who we all know what Alex has done. Skylar Brown as well, and then of course don't forget about Ernie Williams or Adam Elby, Kendall Tucker as well. I mean, that's just the first 5 positions. I mean, you put those drivers on a racetrack, and no matter what track it is, whether it's tacky, whether it's slick, those drivers are going to be towards the front. They're going to put on a show, and especially around here at Knoxville with multiple crews forming already before we've already taken a lap. Man, this is going to be one hell of a race.
You heard it there, the best in the business at the front here in this feature. Cameron Merriman is the man starting 6th. Curtis Merriman and James Edens in row 4. Dawson Hess Roberts, row 5. Eiler, Majulis, Keegan, Fields, Marvulio and Timmerman, Hanley, Lepresto, Calavoda and Lowe, Williams, Scheidt, and Craig Dunn rounding out your field. Looks like Jim Turner is the only car that didn't make the call for this feature. He is not even in the pits at the moment, so unable to get out there on track as we get ready for the DOB Wicked Cushion Woo 410 Wing Sprint cars. Going green here for 35 laps. Alex Bergeron hopping into turn 1 with a significant advantage already. Skylar Brown trying to fight off 5 cars there who are knocking on the door, trying to take away that second spot. You can see he and Williams, really the only 2 willing to venture up to the top. And we were talking about this earlier, Brett. When it comes to the top side at Knoxville, Ernie Williams Jr. is one of the best.
Oh, definitely. Elby made a big mistake in 1 and 2. Tucker had to check up. Edens had to check up. Cameron Merriman, he got around him. So Merriman, he's now going to move into that 4th position. But Brown and Williams, they both rail the top side through 1 and 2. Bergeron, he is already starting to put 1/8 of a second between himself and Skylar Brown. Here goes Williams to the inside. Slide, Jarvie. No, he parked it in front of Skylar. It's so hard to make a slider when the track is this slick, but man, the caution flag comes out probably at the right time for him because he's probably going to restart in 2nd.
We've got multiple issues here, I feel like. Let's see if we can get a replay and find out what happened. You can see one car flipping. That is Craig Dunn. Let's back this up. Looks like Curtis Merriman has run into problems as well. Marvulio, but you can see Dunn here coming through turn 2. He's going to make contact with the 24 car, catch Mike Keegan as well, and Dunn will flip all the way down the backstretch, but landing on all 4, he drives off. The 24 car is Sean Timmerman. Remember, Timmerman was the fastest car in the warm-up session, and he's not actually showing any damage on that car. Maybe a little crumple to that front wing. He's up to 14th right now, but our first caution has hit, and that will move our white flag lap out to lap 38. Bring up our top 10 graphic. You can see what's going on right there. 7th place right now is James Edens. He's the man that's not showing up. He's always the mystery man, not showing up on our graphics. But you can see that Swindell Speed Lab contingent, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. Those 4 are going to be trying to make some moves here on the restart.
Yeah, Craig Dunn, unfortunately, he's done for the night. Of course, Craig come from the C through to the B, into the back of the A, and only getting a couple of laps in. So He'll be very disappointed about what has transpired in the opening couple of laps of tonight's main event. But keep an eye on Bergeron. On that initial start, as I said, he was way down low on the bottom of the racetrack out of turn 4. This time on this restart, he's way up top, trying to keep those right side tyres in the moisture.
Green flag is out. Alex Bergeron got an excellent start. He heads to the bottom side of the racetrack while Ernie Williams Jr. hits the cushion. Skylar Brown trying to follow him, but that's opening up the inside for Kendall Tucker. Here comes that Speed Lab contingent like we were talking about. 3 wide goes Brown, Merriman, and Edens out of 4 and into turn 1 as well. Fantastic battle here. Starting to heat up inside that top 5.
Yeah, Merriman rolls right through the middle of 3 and 4. Edens down low. Skylar Brown up top as well. It's going to be Merriman trying to get the run through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Once again, we've seen that middle work through the B main, but it almost looks like it's just gone away. Some drivers been able to work the cushion. Kendall Tucker has driven away from that 4-car pack, make that 5-car pack as Blake Majulis, but here comes the battle on for the race lead as Ernie Williams Jr. He gets to the top. Bergeron slides up. Williams tries to cross underneath him. Bergeron in 2 minds. The yellow is going to save Alex in this one. Stephen Kawamoto around on the front straightaway.
Oh, I'm so upset that yellow come out because we had one heck of a battle on our hands. All of a sudden, we've been talking Williams up so much. All of a sudden, here he started to make a charge on our race leader, and kind of saved by the bell was Bergeron there. You see Dawson Hess and Kevin Hanley coming together, which involved Stephen Calavoda, who was an innocent bystander that got collected. But looks like he is able to continue. Going to be relegated to the 20th position. Right now is Calavoda. That car is pretty quick. He's going to have to try to charge his way back forward. But now we're going to get to see if that battle can commence. It looked like Bergeron saw how fast Williams was on the top and all of a sudden tried to take that line away.
Yeah, well, Bergeron, these opening 6 or 7 laps that we've had so far, he's been able to control the start and the restart. So, he's been able to pull out that 6/7 of a second gap between himself and that second place driver, which is now obviously Ernie Williams Jr. But, Ernie, as you said earlier on, he's one of the best at running the cushion anywhere in the sim and more so around Knoxville. Alex he's probably in 2 minds right now thinking, well, if I go up top, I take the line away from Ernie. But then he opens up that bottom side for Kendall Tucker.
Yeah, it's going to get really interesting, and I am very curious on which line Bergeron will choose. He knows that Williams is fast on the top. I think he always likes that bottom to be the preferred line, but he has a decision to make right here. All of a sudden, the strategy is going to come into play, and like you said, Kendall Tucker is going to be ready to pounce at any mistake those guys make. Bergeron going to give him green once more here as we get ready to work lap 14. Bergeron down the racetrack. Looks like the slider line is his choice. Here comes Williams with a head of steam. Race is on for the lead between ABR Racing and the Black Diamond 91. Kendall Tucker into the picture now, working the bottom to perfection. I wonder if Bergeron's starting to think, well, maybe I need to stick to what I do best.
That's unlucky for Ernie. There's the caution flag come out. Tucker was in front of him, so again, that's going to put Ernie back to 3rd. But again, Bergeron, he's in all sorts at the moment. He's got so many things going through his mind. He doesn't know where to run. He wants to beat that car out in front. As Brayden Nolan, the 005 machine, the reason for the caution.
Yeah, it looks like Eiler really was not. Well, see, Eiler had a problem off of turn 2. Which didn't bring out the caution. Then they go into turn 3. Dawson Hess cuts across the track and catches Marvulio out, which in the end collected Eiler, bringing out the caution. So very strange turn of events there. Looks like Dawson Hess has claimed that caution and will take an end-of-line penalty. So good on Dawson for saying, hey, I caused some problems for those guys, so I'll go ahead and take this thing to the rear of the field.
Oh boy, now you bring James Egan's into the picture. He's right behind Ernie Williams Jr. Again, as I said earlier on, Bergeron, he's got choices to make. He went to the top side knowing that Ernie's behind him. I guarantee over these next 3-4 laps, if Tucker ain't going to move, if Tucker isn't going to make the move on the top side, we'll see Bergeron just protect that bottom side, and he's just so good at doing it as well.
So our white flag lap moves to lap 44. The caution lights will go out on the pace truck now. And the green flag will come out next time by. Alex Bergeron was able to hold on to the race lead, but now he's got a different car on his tail tank for the restart. However, one thing I think he has going for him, he knows Kendall Tucker was really working that low line. So if Bergeron goes ahead and decides to take that low line away from him, it might be just what he needs to try and build a gap and make sure that he doesn't lose the lead here on this restart. Lap 19 will commence right here. Bergeron gives it the gas. Tucker really hung with him well there. Kendall to the bottom of the racetrack, and Bergeron used that slider line. That's giving a nose to the inside for Kendall Tucker, who's going to try to slide up the track and put the pressure on Bergeron, but it kind of backfired for him there. Back to the bottom he goes. I think we had a little bit of an issue on the front stretch. We're going to see if those boys got it straightened out. But no, caution flag will wave.
Jonathan Lowe, that number 20 machine, was upside down. Just got caught up there with Sean Timmerman in the number 24 machine on the front straightaway, and unfortunately for Jonathan Lowe, he's got some heavy front end damage, missing the front wing on that number 20 machine, but going to bring this car back into pit road, and I think we might see Jonathan Lowe call it a night after this one.
You know, Brett, it's times like these where I'm really glad that this is a video game, because some of these crashes, even with all the safety gear that we have in 2019, I can tell you, woo boy. Of course, I'm an old man now. I got neck issues and everything else. If I was in the damn seat, I'd probably be on a stretcher and off of work for 8 weeks or something. You know, I'd be bedridden, I'm sure.
Just 8 weeks? Wow, okay. Yeah, some of these crashes on here are absolutely brutal. Especially, you know, when you got the guys that they don't want to give up a spot, so they don't want to back out of the throttle if they see a crash. They just want to stay in the gas, knowing that it's, yeah, at the end of the day, yes, it is a game or a simulation, whatever you like to call it. Either way, they stay in the throttle, and they can actually drive through the people to where it doesn't actually hurt their car. So you do that in real life, and well, I don't think you're waking up anytime soon.
Yeah, that's for sure. One day we'll get that patch where all of a sudden you can't just drive through a car, and things will suddenly change.
Oh boy, I hope they do. Now, one thing to note too, and I was going to say this before, just on the last restart, when Ernie was behind Alex was restarting on the top. This is the second time in a row now that Bergeron, he's had Tucker behind him. He's going to be restarting on the bottom.
This is going to be an interesting one. We've seen Bergeron utilizing that slider line into the first couple of corners off the restart. We'll see what he comes up with this time. Green once more here at Knoxville. Alex Bergeron is the man out front. Kendall Tucker right now very, very close on the tail tank of the reigning champion and trying to put some pressure on our race leader. It's very hard to make this guy crack under pressure, however. The most experience running up front of anybody when it comes to sprint car competition on iRacing. Let's take a little farther back look here as James Edens has made his way around Ernie Williams Jr. I wonder if we're going to start to see Williams fade a little bit here, Brett, as that top goes away.
I don't know if it's more so the top's gone away or just the bottom side's really starting to come back in because there's still a fair bit of moisture up top in 3 and 4. But again, it's a real fine line between trying to hit that cushion and when you get to that slick stuff. Meanwhile, look at Tucker. He's staying down low. Alex Bergeron just went to the top side in turns 1 and 2. He's going to do the same in 3 and 4 again. So I think the bottom side is the place to be in 1 and 2. But however, I think the top in 3 and 4, that's where we're seeing Alex get the run.
I think what's interesting right now, the momentum is carrying the outside lane once they get off the corner. In the corner, it looks like Tucker really comes level. But if we look down the front straightaway, you can see that line of black is getting wider and wider. So where the moisture was, those guys were able to use the front and back stretches as like drag strips to get the momentum they needed, but now the top line is starting to propel them around, and you can see James Edens in third starting to experiment with it himself.
Just look at the lap times. Tucker's been a whole lot quicker. Tucker got to the front just there in the middle of 1 and 2. Tucker's been a couple of tenths quicker 2 laps ago. He was about a tenth quicker on the previous lap, but now Bergeron, he's pulled his head in and gone, well, hey, you know, Tucker right now, he's a lot quicker than me. But what Tucker's doing as well, he's staying right on the bottom side, down the straightaway as well. He's not moving up to that black line.
You can see, and that's a show of respect there as well. You know when Bergeron feels like Tucker's a little quicker because all of a sudden he heads to the bottom side of the racetrack and takes that line. He says, I see what you're doing down there, big boy, and I'm going to try to do it better myself, and you're going to have to go around me if you want to make that move. But I tell you what, one guy coming into this picture is the 52 of James Edens, who is working that outside lane. If you want him to go around you, Edens is trying to try things out there on this racetrack that gives him that ability. But you can see how close this battle is. The top 3 really very tight as we get close to the end of this race, and I think lap traffic could play a part here soon.
Again, Tucker, he's the car in the middle in this sandwich. He's sitting in second. For the last 3 laps now, he's been the quickest car out of these top 3. Edens is trying something different in 3 and 4. He's trying to get a run on the top side, trying to carry that momentum down into 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Tucker all over the back of Bergeron, nearly pushing him through turn number 1 and 2. And now Edens all over the back of Tucker. So a good 3-car battle on for the race lead. Edens going to go back upstairs. 14 laps to go this time by. And here comes the 52. He rockets into second.
Oh, and Marvulio slips in front of the race leaders. That crosses Bergeron up. It gives Tucker a look to the inside. And now Edens is right in this battle. We've got a hell of a fight shaping up here at the waning stages of this 410 race at Knoxville. Bergeron changing his line to try and keep these 2 Swindell Speed Lab machines behind him. But he's not. Tucker to the inside, challenging for the race lead. He's staying right on that berm, and so far doing what he needs to do. But look as Bergeron pulls ahead. This track is completely gone, and these 3 drivers who are 3 wide off of turn 2 putting on a show as we get close to the end of this race.
Lap traffic now coming in. Dawson Hans going to try and hold his lap. Bergeron makes a mistake off the cushion. Off turn 4. He stays through the middle of 1 and 2. As does Edens. Edens a little higher there on the exit of turn 2. Hess. They get around that lap car. Tucker back to the inside. Here comes Edens. Looks for the slide job for the race lead. 3 wide down out of turn number 4. Bergeron has it at the start finish line. What do we got? About 10 to go, and it is on for the race lead.
You can't ask for much more out of an online sprint car race. 3 cars battling it out through lap traffic. The best in the business trying to show the way. But James Edens is very, very fast and seems to be winning the slide job battle at the moment. Off of turn 2, Bergeron has the momentum, but Edens has him cleared. Bergeron fighting back to the bottom, and he's going to try to stay on the bottom now. Will it pay off, or will Edens power around?
9 to go at the start finish line. Eden's through the middle. Bergeron down to the low side. Tucker about 5 car lengths away from Alex Bergeron. So take Tucker out of this equation, and you've got James Edens, Alex Bergeron putting on an absolute clinic here at the Knoxville Raceway. 8 to run here in tonight's main event, and James Edens, he has found something through the middle of 1 and 2. Bergeron, he's going to have to be Superman to get by the 52.
And don't forget, James Edens started this race in 8th, where Bergeron was on the pole. He has climbed his way forward to take the lead off of the number 1 driver in the sprint car business when it comes to iRacing. James Edens putting a absolute clinic on right now and telling everybody, hey, I'm just as good as anybody when it comes to these things, and I'm going to try to prove it. But now Bergeron fighting back, contact for the race lead, and Edens is around. James Edens spinning in turn number 2, and we have gone caution.
And does he claim it? Does he claim it? He was definitely the car to initiate the contact. Does he claim it, or does he get a post-race penalty? That's what we're not paid to do this. That's race control's issue. How about that one? We're going to have, I think, 5 or 6 to run. So, boy, oh boy, this is going to be an interesting call again. If he does take it, that's going to put Kendall Tucker in the race lead, Ernie Williams in 2nd, and Cameron Merriman in 3rd. But it does not look like it. He hasn't spoken up just yet, so he might just be trying to take the risk, saying, you know what, if I don't claim it, I might just be able to get away with it. But again, you don't get anything past race control.
You know, I gotta say, and Bergeron went into turn 1 and he clipped the berm a little bit, which actually sent him up the track. Clearly, he did not mean to make contact there with the 52, but I don't think there's any way that he can get away from it. I do believe that the DOB admins are going to ask Alex Bergeron to head to the rear of this field. Now, James Edens is currently shown in the 5th spot. When the caution flag waved, he was able to get that car straightened out. And one of those cars is going to have to go to the tail to claim this caution, and we're going to see who that car will be.
No one. They're both staying in their respective positions, so they're going to hope that that one is just get put back down to a racing deal. But at the end of the day, I mean, from where we stand, you know, we've got to be impartial. You've got to put the fault on Bergeron. He's the one that clipped the inside tire. He's the car that came up the racetrack and initiated the contact.
This is an interesting call here. Contact between the race leaders. Looks like the DOB admins are saying, have at it, boys. So will we see more aggression? Remember, Kendall Tucker in 2nd is Eden's teammate. Is there any retaliation coming? We're going to find out as we go green here with just a handful of laps left in this race. Alex Bergeron on the outside. Kendall Tucker down to the bottom, fighting it out for the race lead once more, but Bergeron gets a big run out of 4 and pulls an advantage.
He is absolutely gone now. He's checked out. He's got 0.6 of a second, and that would feel like an absolute lifetime around here. Tucker continues to work low, misses the bottom as he comes up to the middle of the racetrack. On the exit of turn 4, here comes an only one of Ernie Williams Jr. Ernie wasn't even in the top 3 picture about 15, 20 laps ago. It was all Bergeron, Tucker, and Edens. And now Ernie Williams Jr. He's in 3rd. Look at Edens, Albie, and Merriman. They're nearly 3 wide. 2 to go at the start-finish line.
We got a fantastic battle here for the top 5, but out front, Alex Bergeron is building a gap. He had that contact with James Edens, but now showing why he's the fastest guy in the sim right now as he crosses the line and takes the white flag. Alex Bergeron trying to power his way to a victory here at Knoxville. He's got 1 win on the season. This one's going to be controversial, but he will cross the finish line first. Alex Bergeron takes victory in the DOB Wicked Cushion Woo 410 Wing Sprint Car Series at the virtual Knoxville Raceway. Second place will go to Kendall Tucker, I believe. And
Nope, Ernie got it.
okay, so Ernie got him at the line. Second place to the Black Diamond driver, and Kendall Tucker will come home in third. Those three drivers will park on the main stretch, and we will get interviews here momentarily. Boy, they sure put on a show for us, didn't they?
I don't even know how you start to dissect that one. Before Eden's actually come into the picture, when he was running the top side, when it was just a Bergeron versus Tucker race, I was almost going to say that James Eden was going to win this race. I thought, you know what, I won't say just because if something happens, then I'm going to feel bad for James. But I guess I kind of felt bad because I was thinking about it. But man, what a race between Eden's, Tucker, and Bergeron. Again, those drivers put on an absolute clinic in the mid part of that race, 2-3 wide for probably 10 to 15 laps around the Knoxville. Again, this track was superb.
And I got to say, Mr. Bergeron has some heat in the chat here. A lot of people upset. We've got a lot of people hanging out with us in Twitch and on Facebook at the moment. And I don't know. We haven't got our drivers coming in yet. I know the admins are probably going to be talking about this, but I do say, like I said, you know, Bergeron got into the corner, seemed to clip the berm, which sent him up the racetrack. I know he didn't mean to do it, but at the same time, what happened is what happened.
Yeah, and as I said, it's basically out of our control. You know, we're not here to be race control. We're here to put on a show for the fans, and that's what we did. And I guess it was, regardless of how you look at it, at the end of the day, nothing is official until Chris and all the team here at Dirty Old Bastards, they go through, they review every possible situation, every incident involved, and you know that's when they put out the official results.
All right, we're pulling everybody in right now, and we do have our race winner in the broadcast booth, Alex Bergeron, crossing the finish line first here tonight. Alex, it was a hell of a battle out there for the race lead, and there is a little bit of controversy in this. We saw some contact out there between yourself and the 52 of James Edens there as the race was winding down. Talk about your race and that contact late that seemed to change the complexion there of the waning laps.
Yeah, it was a good race overall. Really, car felt absolutely awesome. You know, there at the end, just I hit the berm a little bit, and the car pushed up in the slick, and couldn't do much about it. You know, that's pretty much what happened there. And you know, the whole race we tried to bottom the top, and it felt good everywhere. But we could have been a little bit quicker tonight.
And that track seemed to change a heck of a lot throughout that race. We saw everybody up there in the top 5 trying multiple different grooves. What was in your head as you saw Kendall Tucker on the bottom making it work really well? Ernie Williams Jr. was on the top coming at you there for a moment, and then Edens comes into the picture. Were you trying to adjust to find what they were finding, or were you able to stay focused on your race itself and make that car work where you needed it to?
Well, you know, like I said, you know, I tried the bottom, and you know, I was confident the bottom was going to work, and I was pretty much set up to run the bottom instead of the top side, so that was difficult for us to run the eye line there, but I kind of needed to because it was the quickest way around, and you know, I adapt to it. You know, I needed to run the top, and you know, we made it work.
Well, there you have it from the winner here tonight at Knoxville, Alex Bergeron, taking his second victory of the season here. Alex looking pretty strong in the early going of this championship. Congratulations on your win here tonight, and good luck going forward.
Thank you. I got to thank Team ABR and the little crew. I got to thank my girlfriend as well, Jason Nygaard. All the fans out there for watching tonight. Everybody who tuned in. DOB for putting the series up. All my partners, CSI Chalks, Newbie.com, BK Designs for the amazing paint, and Meyer Inc. And that's it. We'll be back next week.
There's your race winner, Alex Bergeron, after 35 green flag laps here at Knoxville. Second place went to Mr. Ernie Williams Jr. here tonight. Ernie, you started this race on fire on the top, making some big moves, challenging for that race lead. Seemed like the track went away from you there in the middle of the race, but you were able to fight back and get in that podium and right there on the second step. Talk about your race and how you were able to persevere.
Yeah, I would say the first 15 laps of the race, I probably had one of the faster cars. Then the last 10 laps or so, once it got middle to end, my car started going away a little bit, or my line started to thin out. The cushion got a little bit rougher, and you got to search for lines. And I'm not a guy that's going to go to the bottom on a regular basis. I'll try to find something else because that's where most people's going to run. When the cushion goes away, they'll just run the shortest way around. And that's the way the tracks are right now. And it's hard for anybody to win on the cushion. Like Bergeron said, he set his car up for the bottom because he knew sooner or later the bottom was going to be, especially towards the end of the race. That's the way to be. And I was just trying to slide line to like the middle towards the end. I felt like I was catching him. Tucker got out of line a little bit, which let me get him. And once Eden got in there and them guys got in there, I probably had a fifth place car. But all in all, the car wasn't bad. We'll try to get her a little better next time. But we was close.
Got to feel good about that program right now. Black Diamond Racing up there challenging with the best in the business. You are always good here at Knoxville, but you know, even with the challenges this one you faced in this race, you were able to show the real quality that you guys got over there at Black Diamond.
Yeah, we put some time and effort into it. You know, them guys did a lot of practicing and stuff for the Pro Series on the wing cars, so that's why they ain't been around on the non-wing, and that's why they ain't been around on the wing cars. So me and Josh been pretty much handling all the wing stuff. But yeah, the program over there is pretty strong, and hopefully we'll just keep getting better and better as we get more knowledgeable on them tracks and everything.
There you have it.
I just gotta pop in here for a minute, Ernie. I've been getting it done on the Australian side of things too, buddy. You can't forget about me. But I gotta ask you, why was it qualifying if 18th tonight? Why were you so bad in qualifying?
That's the norm. I mean, I can't get to get a good qualifying setup. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I'm missing everything on that. Once in a blue moon, I don't know if it's the line, we're missing the line or something, but I don't know. I don't never qualify good. Luckily, there was an invert tonight. Put me on the pole of my heat, which let me start third, so I started real good and won my heat race and everything. But you know, you gotta be when Bergeron, Edens, Tucker, all them guys. You know what I mean, there are 4 or 5 pros come in this series every time. You know what I mean? You got to beat them, and then there's 5 to 10 guys that's just right there too. You know what I mean? And you gotta be on your game to come out here and run on Thursday nights for sure.
All right, but I'll help you out with the qualifying session. I'll put some time in you know, over the weekend.
I appreciate that.
There you have it. Second place, Ernie Williams Jr. Going to be heading to the drawing board, but a good finish here tonight at Knoxville. Congratulations, my friend. Good luck going forward.
Yeah. We'll take the second place, and want to give a shout out Tim Nichols with Tim's Dirt Track Simulators, Elbows Up TV. I know you're getting ready to leave us and everything, man. I appreciate all that you've done and all the hard work you put into it. I know there's some nights that you prefer to do something else, spend some time with the family, but you make time to put up with us on a couple hours a night and 3 or 4 nights a week actually, and we appreciate it, man. All that you did for us, and hopefully we'll see you one more time before you leave.
I appreciate that very much, Mr. Williams. So that is your second place driver. Let's talk to Mr. Kendall Tucker. I'm sure this lobby is coming up very soon for the 305s, but we got to talk to Kendall Tucker because this guy is never one to leave his feelings as a question mark. He's going to tell you exactly how he feels, and he fought his ass off in this race. Kendall, talk to us about your race and how that battle up front went.
I just needed the bottom to stay there a little bit longer than it did. I think we was one of the fastest cars right there midways 3/4 of the race, and track just kind of slipped away. And once that bottom got away, I knew it was going to be tough, but I was really trying to make it work. But was not as free as I needed to be to run it, and just a little too free off. So it just wasn't a really good combination. It was kind of a handful to drive down there, but just to bring home third and be right up there with Alex, and just James, that was a good battle. Just hate Alex had to take him out like that, but just what comes around goes around. It'll get him before it's all said and done, and just get back after it next week.
I will. I believe I did point out that he doesn't really hold anything back. Kendall, let me say this because your team gets a little bit of a bad reputation when it comes to contact on the racetrack. But of course, you see tonight the shoes on the other side of the foot. But I no matter what the normal scuttlebutt is, that team is always up front. You guys are always very strong, no matter what type of open wheel or closed fender race car you're out there on the dirt with. How much pride do you have racing for that team, and how good does it make you feel when you guys are up front and racing clean and showing everybody what you got?
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to get here and race and just to represent Swindell Speed Lab and just everything that they stand for and everything. And just, it sucks just to get raced like that sometimes, but just it's all fun and games in the end, and just hopefully just keep it clean from here on out. But we'll keep it in the memory bank and just move on.
There you have it. Third place, Kendall Tucker. Congratulations, my friend. Good luck going forward with the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you. Just gotta thank all the guys at Speed Lab, and just thanks to Chris for putting these deals on. Thanks to you for broadcasting as always, and look forward to the rest of the season.
So there you have it, your top three from Knoxville in the 410 race. We are already live in the 305 event. Mr. Brett, I wonder if you're going to be hanging out with us. I figure you might be sneaking out. What you got going on, my friend?
I'm not too sure. I'm going to find out what the missus is doing. I don't know whether we're going to the shops or not, but I'll stick around for as long as I can, and when she tells me to get off, I'm going to get off.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out with us for sure either way. It was a lot of fun to get to call a race with you. It's always interesting. You put two of us motor mouths together, guys that are used to doing the play-by-play, but we found a way to coexist. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always good. As I said, you're one of the best in the business, so to get the opportunity to come over here and call another DOB race was fun, and to work with you for the first time, it was great. So hopefully many more to come.
Hey, if you got to go ahead and plug your stuff, man. Where are we going to see your broadcast coming next? What do you got coming up here in the near future?
Just check us out on Ultimate Dirt TV on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So, that's we're not here for me. We're here for Always Up TV, and that's what we're here for.
Please listen to him. He's so modest and polite. I tell him to plug his stuff, and he's like, "Hey, you guys are great. This is fun." So we're watching hot laps here in 305 competition. There's 3.5 minutes left in this race. We are at the virtual dirt track at Charlotte tonight for the 305s, race number 3. I do want to go ahead. We are going to restart the stream on Facebook Live like we normally do. If you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, don't go anywhere. Nothing is going to change for you, but we are going to start a new video for our Facebook watchers. So please look for that video coming up here momentarily and join us once more as we get ready for the 305 race. We are back live on the Dirty Old Bastards Facebook page, getting ready for the DOB Wicked Relief Gum with CBD 305 Sprint Car Series. 35 laps at the dirt track at Charlotte on tap for you here tonight. Your current championship standings look like this. At the top of the table is Tyler Henselman, who is 4 points ahead of Charlie Bragg. Brandon Igo, Shea Palo, and Scott Masick are the drivers making up the top 5 here in the early portion of the season. This is race 3. And remember, there are rules when it comes to how you score points in the 305 league. If you are above 3,500 I rating, you cannot score points in the 305 league. This is, of course, the entry-level league, so they have rules in effect to help out the guys who are starting out or learning, that sort of thing. So that is the cutoff to be able to score points. And if you have over 4,500 I rating, you are not eligible to race in the 305 league as well. So now the first race of the season was won by Kevin Hanley, who did not score any points for that, so we don't see him on the timetable or the championship table right now. Last week, if I'm not mistaken, trying to think back.
Jason Nygaard.
Jason Nygaard, that is right. Nygaard took the victory last week in 305 competition, who is also not eligible for points in this league. So we have a clean slate on winners right now. Tyler Henselman is the man holding the championship lead right now, and he is 20th quick in this session. Looks like Nygaard, last week's winner, is third. Quick time right now belongs to Shea Palo, the defending champion of the DOB 305 series. And Tyler Grafton right now is P2 as we get ready to move on in tonight's event. No qualifications here tonight. It's going to be a random draw. We're going to go straight into heat races.
It always changes things up, you know, because that way you don't have to rely on your qualifying time. If you get a bad pill draw, that just makes you want to work that harder during a heat race to make sure you get into that, you know, into those top 4 positions, and then work your way through the heat races through to, you know, the B or the A main.
Yeah, and I think it's actually seems to be more complicated in the early portions of the evening because the track is obviously still so quick, a lot of moisture, and you know, depending on how these random draws go, you might end up with guys that normally wouldn't have qualified up front, but they might end up front, and all of a sudden the fast guys are going to struggle to get around them because they still have a lot of moisture to work with. So it definitely throws a monkey wrench into things. We will have 4 heat races here tonight before we go into a C main. 7 cars in this one, which actually we might not have a C main. We'll have to see how it shakes out.
No, there's only 27 cars, so C main should get skipped and just run a B main, warm up, and then a 30 lap main event to finish this one, or 50?
35 on this one actually here tonight, so we will have plenty of racing when it comes feature time here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Anthony Marvulio will be on the pole here for heat race number 1. Zane Scott in second. Jason Nygaard and Scott Messick will be in row number 2. Mark Smith and Blake Depinet, sorry, I always get that wrong, in row 3. And John Lowe will round out your field. 10 laps the distance. It is shown as the top 4 advancing to tonight's feature. Anthony Marvulio will give us green here off of turn number 4. Zane Scott trying to get a little bit of a jump there. He might have got too much of a jump. Have to keep an eye on that. You know, you never know when iRacing is going to lay down the hammer on restart jumping. But Zane Scott definitely beat Marvulio to the line. Right now, he's driving like he has no problem. So we'll see how everything shakes out. Marvulio settling into second place. Problems for 4th and 5th. Scott Messick getting turned around there. Caution flag will wave. Looks like he had a little bit of contact with Blake Depinet.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. Both drivers just trying to fight for that final transfer spot. What it is going to do, though, is going to bring this field back up into single file restarts, and we'll see if Blake's going to take the EOL for that one, or whether he looks to try and get away with it. Again, you could probably put that down just to a bit of a racing deal. 305s. You know, most of the drivers will be running that same line, but again, You know, when you got these 305, the key is in these cars, as you know, it's all about momentum. And there he goes. He's actually taken an EOL.
Yeah, the idea is to keep your foot on that throttle, and even if you're stabbing the breaker, you've got to do some kind of evasive maneuvers. Every time you lift out of that gas, all of a sudden, it's like you throw an anchor out and people start driving by you, especially at this level, which is some very, very serious 305 competition. And probably one of the only places where we see a lot of track degradation when it comes to the 305s as well, Brett.
Yeah, of course. You know, this track at the moment, to start off these 305s, you know, generally they start on the bottom side. Then once you see that black slick line developing through the center of turns 1 and 3, that's when they start to move above that line. You'll see the real faster guys be able to keep their cars on the bottom side. But at the moment, at this stage, they're just happily running through the middle. Hopefully, this track wears out to where some drivers are going to be able to keep it up on the top side.
Green flag out once more here in heat race number 1. Working lap 6, Zane Scott jumps out to a sizable advantage here on Anthony Marvulio, who currently holds second ahead of Nygaard. Right now, the battle for the transfer spot is what we are going to watch as John Lowe puts a slider in on Mark Smith, but has to give way, leaving room there for the 457. But coming up, the man who actually had the transfer spot before that contact, it is Scott Masick trying to charge forward once more.
Yeah, Smith and Lowe putting on an absolute show here for that fourth and final transfer spot. 2 to go at the start-finish line. Zane Scott, he leads from Marvulio. Nygaard all over the back of Marvulio, but again, look at this battle on the fourth right now. Again, one of these drivers are going to miss out from the main event from direct transferring from the heat races. Jonathan Lowe completely missed the bottom side, and I think that was his opportunity right now. As look at Scott Masick, so on the top side in the 000, he's got one final time to make something happen in 3 and 4. Time's going to run out. Zane Scott going to win heat race number 1 as Jason Nygaard will come home in second. Anthony Marvulio home in position 3, and the fourth and final transfer spot goes to Mark Smith.
Yeah, it looked to me like Lowe got a little crossed up behind the Smith car there. It seemed like Smith kind of stumbled just a bit. Lowe nearly ran into the back of him, so Lowe lost a little bit of time, tried to make it up by trying something different, expecting that Smith car to stumble once more, and it went the opposite way. So tough break for Jonathan Lowe, but we will see more of him later in this event, most likely the B main as we go forward.
Oh, heat number 2, 10 laps on the board. Again, top 4, going to transfer, and just looking at some of the drivers in here. Nicholas McGeethy coming from the mid-pack. Mike Henninger up on the inside of that second row, but it's going to be Mason Hannigan. Mason Hannigan, he's going to be tough to beat here from the pole position.
Mason Hannigan, Team SETI driver of the number 22, starting on the pole. John Bragman to his outside. Mike Henninger, Jeffrey Stewart, row number 2. Nicholas McGeethy, Charlie Bragg, row 3, and Bill Kreis rounding out your field. Turtle Soap, we are aware of the issues. We've been talking about that throughout the night. For whatever reason, we have issues until basically the end of heat race number 2, and then the stream should stabilize and give us some good stuff. This could very well be the last broadcast that we have. We've got more broadcasters coming in the near future so that we don't have these issues going forward. But right now, we're just trying to give you what we can. And Mason Hannigan is going to give us green off of turn number 4. Bragman was unable to keep pace with Hannigan, but a decent start as he holds on to that second position, as Jeffrey Stewart starting to make waves there in P3 and looking to get around that 017.
Yeah, look at the battle on again for that fourth and final transfer spot. Mike Henninger holds on to position 4. McGeethy was on his inside in turns 3 and 4 now, and Charlie Bragg was almost on the outside. They're almost 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 last time, but look at McGeethy trying to work high, trying to get by the 044 of Mike Henninger through 1 and 2. He gets up to the inside. They drag race down your back straight away into turn number 3 and 4. McGeethy going to slide up in front of Henninger. Henninger going to turn it back underneath. A good battle right now. They're getting that 4th and final transfer spot, and here comes the 154 of Bragg. Going to make it a 3-car battle. Henninger gets loose.
Henninger losing a lot of time there as he was trying to work the inside of the 073. Charlie Bragg elected to use that high lane, and now he is on the tail tank of McGeethy, who is trying to work his way forward. He would love to put a little bit of insurance between himself and that final transfer spot, as Charlie Bragg is the man on the outside looking in. He needs one spot to earn that automatic berth into tonight's feature. Out front, Mason Hannigan continues to pace this field. He's got a sizable advantage over second place John Bragman, who
Do it back to the fourth spot. He looks for third through 3 and 4. Not going to do it. White flag. Final time in heat number 2.
Hannigan has led the whole way, and down the backstretch, he's got 2 more corners to take victory and earn an outside front row starting spot for tonight's feature. Mason Hannigan will win heat race number 2. John Bragman second, Nicholas McGeethy third, and Jeffrey Stewart will come home with the 4th and final transfer.
Yeah, some good moves there made by Nicholas McGeethy, who started position 5, only had to pick up 1 position to make it into the show, but he ended up getting 2 positions, so he comes home position number 3 in that one. And again, we'll stack another 7 cars for heat race number 3 here for the 305 series.
That's a really strong run from McGeethy. Very hard to make a big charge in these cars. We talked about how the random draw was going to spread out the fast cars and the slow cars. Or not slow cars. There are no slow cars when it comes to the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League. But those guys that you're used to seeing up front, if they don't get the chance to qualify, they might find themselves trying to charge through this field. And it doesn't always work as well as it did for Nicholas McGeethy.
Yeah, no, it's one man I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Your week 1 winner, Kevin Hanley, in the 110 machine. He's going to start at the back of this one, so we'll see how far Kevin can get through this field.
Brandon Igo and Bob Curtis will start on the front row of heat race number 3. Richie Preston, Timothy Bolander, row number 2. Jacob Campbell, Kevin Hanley, row 3. And Tyler Grafton will round out our field. 10 more laps coming your way here. The winner of this race will start to the inside of row number 2 in the feature. Definitely a good spot to have, trying to follow that race leader into turn 1 when we get to the 35-lap main event. Brandon Igo going to come off at turn 4 here and give us green. Bob Curtis trying to stay with him. We'll see what he can do. Oh, real stuff start for Bob Curtis, and he gets a bumper from behind. He and the 123 of Jacob Campbell end up in the infield and trying to recover as this race goes on without him. Brandon Igo, your race leader, the 125 of Richie Preston in second. Third place belongs to Tyler Grafton, who started this race dead last. And right now, the 4th and final transfer belongs to Timothy Bolander.
Yeah, behind him in that 5th spot is that 110 of Kevin Hanley, who just sort of got checked up and balked with that incident there on lap number 1. So we'll see if Hanley can make a run towards your top 4. But at the moment, Tyler Grafton, as you said, AJ, he started position 7 and he's up to position number 3. But meanwhile, looking on for the race lead right now, Richie Preston all over the back of Brandon Igo through 1 and 2. Preston will duck down to the inside, down into turn number 3. He completes the slide jump, but Igo, he's going to cross it back underneath him. They drag race to the start-finish line. Boy, that was a dead heat as they come across the start-finish line.
Power move by the 125 of Preston. Igo gets crossed up off of turn 2, loses a lot of time, and he's actually going to lose the second and third position, however, as he slots into 4th from the race lead. Brandon Igo now holding on to that 4th and final transfer position, and he is seeing the 110 of Kevin Hanley get larger and larger in his rear view mirror. Richie Preston out front has a sizable advantage over Tyler Grafton. Third place belongs to Timothy Bolander. Those boys have been battling it out this entire way, but at this point, now they have a cushion behind them. No real danger of losing their transfer spots unless they find some contact.
Yeah, it really shouldn't be all that shouldn't be that hard to hold on to the transfer spots, but again, the transfer spot that is going to be up for grabs here in the final lap and a half, I should say, is that fourth and final transfer spot. Igo, he still holds on to that, but here comes Kevin Hanley. He's really driving him deep into turns 3 and 4. That may have been his opportunity. Hanley's going to have one final lap, one opportunity to make something happen into 3 and 4. Can they do it? Boland a little off the pace on the exit of turn 2. Here comes Hanley. He goes to the inside, looks for the slide job. No, not going to happen. The win is going to go to Richie Preston. Home in second, going to be Tyler Grafton after starting position. Number 7, Timothy Boland, home in third. Fourth is going to be Brandon Igo. You go back to Kevin Hanley, Bob Curtis, and Jacob Campbell finishing one lap down in that 7th position.
Igo probably not super happy with the way that race went, but he did earn that final transfer spot, so he's in the show here tonight. Probably just a lot of work left to do, however, if he wants to find himself on the podium in our 35-lap feature. This is the final heat race of the evening here as we get ready for heat race number 4, where we will take 4 more competitors on to our A main feature tonight. And let's look at this lineup. James Simmons in the 772 will start inside row number 1, and he has got the defending champion Shea Pallow in the 21P to his outside. Chris Roberts and Tyler Henselman make up an all DOB row number 2, while Kyle Stoltz and Dustin Sargent round out our field.
And AJ, quickly, that's going to be me done for. Appreciate the chance to call the race with you, and hopefully we get to do it again soon.
It was a lot of fun to have you, Brett. Thank you for joining us, and everybody go check out Ultimate Dirt TV on Facebook. If you're not already following, I'm sure you are. If you're a smart iRacing sprint car fan, you absolutely do. But thanks for hanging out with us.
Cheers, AJ. Good luck, bud.
So we're getting ready for the green flag to wave here in heat race number 4. James Simmons controlling this race, going to try and take Shea Pallow into turn number 1 and show the defending champion how it's done. We'll see what he can do. Off of turn 4, green flag is out. Oh, contact between Simmons and Pallow. Looked like Simmons got crossed up through the slick, went up the racetrack and made contact with the defending champion in that 21P. These guys are still trying to get straightened out as Pallow goes around the outside of Dustin Sargent and into that 5th position. Chris Roberts was the man who inherited the top spot when those two came together. See Tyler Henselman in 2nd, Kyle Stoltz in 3rd, and Simmons right now holding on to that 4th position. But he's got Shea Pallow coming up from behind. Not sure how much damage that 21 has. See Dustin Sargent trying to hold him off at the moment. Sargent up the track and into Simmons. Pallow goes around the outside, will take 4th away. A lot of contact here in heat race number 4. Getting a little dicey. Pallow, who started this race in 2nd, had that contact which knocked him back. Now has a transfer spot, but Dustin Sargent coming forward wants to take it away and contact again. Sargent into the left rear, and we will actually get our first yellow. Let's back this up and see everything develops. Sargent down the backstretch. They make contact out of 2. Pallow trying to protect that middle lane. Sargent comes up the racetrack, makes contact, and then as he collects James Simmons, the caution flag waves. Roberts, Henselman, Stoltz, and Palo, your top 4. Those are the guys transferring on right now. It's Simmons and Sargent who have to make their way into the top 4. Green flag will wave here, working lap 9. Green-white checkered finish is engaged. Roberts out front. Stoltz under fire from Shea Palo right now. Palo's trying to get some positions forward. If he can get that 3rd spot, he will gain 4 spots when it comes to starting tonight's feature. White flag is out. Chris Roberts out front, holding firm. And he will look to take victory off of turn number 4. Checkered flag waves. Chris Roberts will win. Henselman 2nd, Stoltz 3rd, and Shea Palo in 4th. B main coming at you in mere moments. Should be a 10-lap race. I know it says 12, but it's not. 10-lap race. Dazing, Artman for Life, and Bard 027. Thank you for the follows. Appreciate that. Shay really wants to qualify. I feel you, brother. Makes it complicated every once in a while. Looks like Scott Masick must have disconnected. He was scheduled to start on the pole, but unable to make the call here. So our starting lineup a little shaken up here. Kevin Hanley will be on the pole. Charlie Bragg 2nd. Blake Depinay, Dustin Sargent, Bob Curtis, Bill Christ, James Simmons, and John Lowe, Mike Henninger, Jacob Campbell, rounding out our field. We're going green this time by for 10 laps. Hanley with a good jump. He's going to bring Depinet along with him. Charlie Bragg on the outside. We see a crash at the rear of the field, and looks like the caution will fly as a problem for Bob Curtis and one other car, which I think is Bill Christ. Let's back this up and see. John Lowe up the inside. The 12 car up the track, which is Curtis. He makes contact with Christ there, upside down, and bringing out the first yellow of the B main. Looks like that is it for Curtis. Terminal damage bringing him into the pit lane. We are taking 8 out of this race on to tonight's feature, which means Bill Christ is the only guy on the outside looking in right now. He's probably pretty frustrated, as he was in a transfer spot before that contact with Curtis. But now he's got work to do. Green flag is out, working lap 5 here. Remember, this is only a 10-lap race. Kevin Hanley, through turns 1 and 2, has control. Charlie Bragg in second, trying to keep pace with the 110. Right now, it is Bill Kreis who has to try and make his way forward here. He's got the 123 of Jacob Campbell in front of him. You saw him get crossed up there. Campbell came down the racetrack a little bit, shook up Bill Kreis, and he dropped back, lost a lot of time, which is not a good thing as this race is already winding down. Those caution laps really took a lot out of this thing. And Kevin Hanley is not wasting any time in this race. 2 laps left of this 10-lap B main feature. Kevin Hanley out front will be looking at the white flag this time by. Charlie Bragg in second. We're keeping our eye on the battle for the final transfer spot. John Lowe's off the track! Oh, Bill Kreis with a gift sent from the virtual racing heavens as John Lowe gets into some sort of a contact with another car into the infield and is now out of tonight's feature. Not sure if we can back it up fast enough to see before the video progresses. Here's Lowe. He makes contact. He was running 5th at the time, and contact with Dustin Sargent sent him to the infield and out of the transfer spots. Unbelievable. And now we go to our 2-minute warm-up. Ladies and gentlemen, Wicked Relief Gum is your daily dose of CBD in the form of a chew. Each piece is 10 milligrams of CBD and absorbs 5 times faster than other products. Whether it's pain, inflammation, anxiety, or insomnia, Wicked Relief Gum offers quick and easy relief. Just go to wickedgumcbd.com and use code DOBRL for a special 20% off your order and free shipping on race days. That DOBRL code also works on wickedenergygum.com for a boost of energy and focus as well. Current deal on offer, 20% and free shipping if you order from wickedenergygum.com, wickedgumcbd.com, or wickedcushion.com as well. Use that DOBRL code and you can get 20% off your order today. Tyler Grafton right now fastest in our warm-up session. Zane Scott is second. Nygaard is third. Those are your quick drivers so far. Lining up for our feature here tonight. final race of the evening. Zane Scott waiting to ride in to his front row starting position at the moment. There he is. We have everybody on track, getting ready to roll for our 35-lap feature. Zane Scott on the pole. Mason Hannigan making it a Team SETI sweep of the front row. Preston Roberts, Nygaard Bragman, Grafton Henselman, Marvulio McGathy, Bolander, Stoltz, Smith, Stewart, Igo, Paolo, Hanley, Bragg, Depanet, Simmons, Henninger, Sargent, Campbell, and Kreis. We're going green for 35 laps. Zane Scott gonna give it to him right here off of turn number 4. The DOB Wicked Relief Gum with CBD 305 Sprint Car Series is on at the dirt track at Charlotte. Zane Scott getting to the top with the race lead. Mason Hannigan currently holding on to second as Chris Roberts fights up the inside, and we got a car in the fence. That's Smith. Mark Smith into that pit wall going into turn 3. Let's back this up, and this started way back. See, Smith has Paolo to the outside. Henselman and Marvulio collecting Stewart. Smith and Paolo, Igo making contact with the car of Smith, sending him into that pit wall. Absolute carnage here on lap number 1. You see Henselman got hit by McGathy, which is what sent him around. Holy smokes. What a melee there on lap 1. Stewart is the only man that made positions in that schmozzle there down the backstretch. Lap 38 becomes our white flag lap. We will go back to green here. Zane Scott gonna start us off at turn 4. Noakes, this is a 35-lap feature, but the caution flag laps don't count. So that is why you see 5 of 200. When we hit lap 38, the white flag will fly, and the checkered flag will fly on 39. So Zane Scott out front. See Chris Roberts trying to find his way around the 22 of Hannigan. Ooh, now Nygaard! Oh, with the big slide job, he hit Hannigan. That crossed him all up. He lost a lot of positions. Nygaard up the racetrack into Hannigan. It cost Hannigan a little bit. It allowed Roberts to get around him, but not as bad as what happened to Nygaard. And the caution flag will wave as we have another problem. Let's see if I can figure out what happened here. It's James Simmons who had an issue there. He's so far sideways. Kind of surprised that brought the caution out, to be honest with you. But it sure did look like he was coming across the track and we were going to have a big incident there, but he was able to save it. Good piece of driving to make that not as bad as it could have been. So we are going back green here. Lap 41 has become our white flag lap. Zane Scott has control. Boy, Hannigan got a really good start. He's to the outside of Roberts, who's going to try to slide up the racetrack, but still leave room there for Mason. Mason unable to capitalize, looking at the 125 car, diving up the inside, putting the slider on Roberts. That's Richie Preston, who is charging right now. And the other man who's charging is the 21P of Shea Paolo, last season's champion. Paolo climbing his way forward. He's up to third. Ladies and gentlemen, he started like 14th in this race. Shea Paolo, absolutely on fire at the moment. You see him get to the outside of Preston, taking sole possession of that third spot. They are 3 wide behind them. That's Stoltz fighting through the middle of 2 cars there. He's got McGathey in his sights. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between Stoltz and McGathey. Bolander on the inside as those guys go 3 wide into turn 3. See Jason Nygaard. Oh, McGathey going to give him a little love back. Beating and banging here in the 305 event. Stoltz able to get the better of him as McGathey got crossed up there with Bolander. Now McGathey, however, made contact with Hannigan. And upside down he goes. Caution flag waves. Let's get a look at this. See Hannigan putting the slide job in, making contact with McGathey and sending him up and over. Now the question is, what happened to Hannigan to send him that far back? Because Mason was running in third there. So we missed something there as we were losing our minds over Shea Paolo's incredible charge to the front. Hannigan will take an end-of-line penalty for causing that caution. So taking ownership of that contact there with McGathey. So our white flag lap is lap 44 now. Zane Scott still pacing this field, has Chris Roberts on his tail tank, but the guy we are going to keep an eye on is that 21P of Shea Paolo. He won the championship last season, had some tough breaks in the first 2 races, and he's trying to get a finish to come through here in race number 3. Paolo to the inside of Chris Roberts, trying to make a charge. The elbows up Sim Sport driver, looking very fast here as we get close to the halfway point in this race. Ooh, Richie Preston into the fence there. He collects Bolander. See if I can find those guys. Bolander keeps it straight. Caution flag will wave. You see Richie Preston there as well. We're going to back this up, try to find out who ended up with the worst of it. See the contact there with Bolander. Nygaard gets collected. He's upside down. Brandon Igo and Dustin Sargent really had nowhere to go. Let's back this up. I want to get a look from the cockpit of Brandon Igo and see how quickly things go wrong. Boy, what do you do? Paolo up 13 spots. His teammate, Jeffrey Stewart, up 8. Hanley and Bragg making their way forward as well. This track starting to wear out for these drivers, creating new and unique challenges as we move forward in this race. Should see the lights on the pace truck go out this time. And we will get back to green flag racing. Oh, we are back. Sorry, I was still on the replay screen. Zane Scott has given us green on lap 27. See, Shea Paolo is making his charge on Chris Roberts once again. John Bragman right there with those guys trying to battle it out. Kyle Stoltz charging his way forward. We've got a lot of fast cars right there behind the 93 of Chris Roberts. And another caution will wave. Problems for the 123 of Jacob Campbell. He pulls into the pits, but that's not the reason for the caution. At least I don't think. See if we can find it here. Ah, there it is. Boy, this race has not gone very well for Mason Hannigan, who started in the second position. Tyler Grafton is going to lose it in between turns 1 and 2. Not lose it. He's going to get help from Anthony Marvulio. Richie Preston and Mason Hannigan getting caught up there with nowhere to go. And Hannigan getting the worst of it. All right, this time I'll make sure we get us back to live viewing action. I've never actually screwed that up before. That's a good one. I have to log that one in the book, that non-existent book that I just made up. A lot of caution so far. We are up to lap 50 as our white flag lap. Zane Scott gives him green once more. Chris Roberts under fire from Shea Paolo again here. This time Paolo able to clear Roberts. He's fighting back on the inside, but not going to be able to hold it. Shea Paolo to second place and able to set his sights on our race leader, Zane Scott. Scott and Paolo both eligible to earn points in this league. Under the required I rating cap. Roberts, as a former 410 champion, is unable to points race in with the 305s, but of course Chris races with every single one of his leagues. Let's look a little farther back here. John Bragman was really charging earlier. He has had to give way to the 0-1 of Kyle Stoltz. See Kevin Hanley still coming forward. Hanley started like 18th in this race, is up to 7th. Jeffrey Stewart right in front of him in 6th. Tell you what, Timothy Bolander has been knocked around many, many times, but he's still out there making these laps work. Tyler Henselman in the 21 as the 00 of Blake Depinet to his inside. Bragman and Stoltz battling it out. Hanley and Stewart kind of looking through the field here. Charlie Bragg behind these boys as Blake Depinet tries the bottom of the track. You see how slick it is down there, but the 305s with such little horsepower means the high side is just so much longer, or seems longer at least. Zane Scott, our race leader, still holding on to a pretty good advantage over Shea Paolo. That last lap, Scott was faster. So Paolo, so far, unable to close the gap. Hello, Ethan. You can't call these guys rookies, but this is the introductory league into the Dirty Old Bastards Racing Leagues. There is an I rating cap to the people who can race in it. There's also a secondary I rating cap for the people who can earn points in this league. But this is a good place to get your feet wet and get started to compete with the pros of iRacing, which is where, the Dirty Old Bastards is a pro playground, and it's very hard to break into the 360 and 410 races, so this is a good place to start. Zane Scott, your race leader, as the laps wind down here. Shea Paolo doing everything he possibly can. He's charged his way forward in this race. But right now, without a mistake from the driver of the 37, Paolo is looking at a second place finish here tonight. 2 laps left in this race. Third place, Chris Roberts has Kyle Stoltz all over his back bumper. Now, lap traffic coming into play. These are open sets, Artman. Zane Scott crosses the line as the white flag waves. Yellow flag comes out, but we will finish this race. The leader has taken it. We're racing it out for the win. Zane Scott through 3 and 4 will come off of turn 4 with the checkered flag. Zane Scott will win the DOB Wicked Relief Gum with CBD 305 sprint car race at the dirt track at Charlotte. Shea Palo will come home second. And I do believe it will be Chris Roberts who will be third. Kyle Stoltz tried to make a move there to take that position away and got crossed up on the front stretch and lost a lot of positions. Do I know any other leagues? Let's see here. I saw something on Facebook earlier today that might help you. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get these guys into Discord and get some interviews with our top 3. On iRacing Leagues on Facebook, it's a Facebook group, iRacing Leagues, there was a post earlier today that listed every dirt sprint car league known to this forum. Might be hard to find. But if you look in iRacing Leagues, you can find a listing of all the other leagues available. Of course, the DOB runs on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. Wednesdays is the non-wing stuff, midgets and sprints. 360s on Tuesday, and the 410s and 305s on Thursday. So, in the broadcast booth, we have our top 3. Let's talk to our race winner who started this race from the pole and led the whole way. Zane Scott, your victor here tonight. Zane, talk to us about this race. You made it look easy, but I'm sure that it wasn't quite as easy as how it seemed.
Track was slick. Car was fast. We won.
Listen to the absolute exquisite explanation given by our team setting friend Zane Scott, a man of many words, telling you how it is. Zane, how much did that track change there? I mean, obviously, it seemed like the top was the way around, but that thing really gave you a challenge at times. And also, Shea Palo charging from the rear of this field, when he showed up in your rearview mirror, I'm sure that made you sit up in your seat.
Who? I'm just playing. I love Shea. No, the track changed a little bit there. The cushion kind of started to come in a little bit more, I think, about halfway to the end there. And I knew it was a matter of time until I had to get up there. But, I mean, the line throughout the race was the same. You know, high 1 and 2, carry the momentum down the backstretch, and then 3 and 4. This track definitely allows you to run a hard slider line. You can drive it in deep. So that's what we did. And just kind of as it slicks off, you kind of shift your lines up a little bit. You get on the cushion. Try to drive it a little bit more straight, but that's whatever. Than what you normally would to keep the speed up. Because if you kill the RPMs in this thing, it ain't gonna be a pretty day. So, I mean, be a little bit better if it was a 360 or 410. You got to work the throttle a little bit more, but 305s are kind of fun. You just come out, stab it, and it's all on the wheel.
There you have it, the explanation from the man who did it best here tonight. Zane Scott, your winner at the dirt track at Charlotte in round 3 of the DOB 305 Sprint Car Series. Congratulations, Zane, and good luck going forward, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks to all the fans out there. I love you. To my fam, all of them, and especially Cognitive Warriors, Wicked Cushion Esports, Drew Neal at 19 Designs making this badass orange race car. You for putting the booth on. I don't know if this will be your last night, but if it is, I love you. I virtually hug you. And Chris Roberts for DOB. Peace out. I'm out.
He's not a ham or anything, is he? I think that might be my favorite victory lane interview of all time. Zane Scott, there you have it from the man who took it home
Imagine
here
if that was a
tonight.
410 win.
Exactly. I mean, he would have been over the moon there. Let's talk to second place Shea Pallow. Shea, I'm not going to count up where you started from and how many cars you passed, but you had a hell of a charge to the front, my friend.
Yeah, it came with a few bumps and bruises there. I think lap one, I slammed on the brakes, and a couple guys got into the back of me that might not have seen the wreck in front of me. But that's the fun in these 305s. You know, they're all so equal in speed, and it's a hell of a time getting around, guys. I complain all the time that I wish we could qualify, but damn, it's fun running through the pack like that.
You definitely made it interesting for sure. I know that battle with Chris Roberts there to take over the second position was hot and heated, but ultimately not enough to chase down Zane Scott. When you finally got around Chris, did you feel like you were going to be able to set your sights and really reel him in? Or how did you feel the end of that race was going to go? Because we had a lot of cautions as well.
Yeah, every restart, it seemed like he was just getting, almost a quarter of the way through the corner before we could get to him coming out of two. And once me and Chris had a great race there for most of that race. And like Zane said, you throw sliders in these things and it's almost impossible to keep your position because the RPMs just die and it's all about momentum. So Chris made a little mistake. I think he stayed in the middle of the track and I was able to drive around him on the outside. And I don't know if he gave it to me finally or what, but I appreciate it. Hell of a race from him and Zane. Yeah, I don't think I had anything for him. Car was a little beat up from a couple of wrecks, but he was just too fast.
Well, there you have it. Second place, Shea Pallow making the charge as the hard charger and giving us a show here at Charlotte. Congratulations, my friend, and good luck going forward with the rest of the season.
Thank you, sir. Got to thank teammates. Without them, I wouldn't know what the hell to do with these cars and setups and stuff. Tyler, Jeff, yourself, Billy, James, all you guys make this thing go round for me every week. Dallas Breeze with Over the Wall Photography, putting his name on the car. Billy for painting them. Paints by Tunican, if you guys haven't checked him out yet. That guy does an awesome job. And shout out Jeff, too, a top 5 there. And my girlfriend, she came home right when that race started, and she knew I had my headset on and left me alone, so I got to thank her.
There you have it. He's got all the thanks taken care of. Shea Pallow, second place here tonight. Let's talk to the third and final podium finisher, Chris Roberts in the 93. Chris, that was an up and down race there. You were charging hard there for a moment and had some fantastic battles out there. Talk about that thing.
Yeah, it was good. I was a little disappointed, because the past 2 seasons with the 305s, I've started those like mid-afternoon, so the sun's been out and most of the tracks open up. In Charlotte here, it's the past couple times we've been here with 305s, the bottom lane would come in about mid-race there in the feature, and it just unfortunately, with starting the races now at like sundown, it just never really came in, and the bottom was just super slick. So it was, like Zane said, it was around the top. Unfortunately, we've had good races here in the 305s. That I think the last 305 race here last season was a great one, but just unfortunately that's the way the track is, and you'll have that sometimes. We've seen with the starting them in the evening, the first 3 weeks seem totally different tracks than what we've ran during the afternoon with the 305. So you'll have those, changes things up a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely was an interesting one. Didn't see the multiple grooves, a lot of slide jobs in there, which brought some contact into it. But, nobody killed each other out there, so that's always a good thing when we can go home and not have to break up a fist fight, right?
Yeah, that's always a good thing. And getting to Shea and saying his girlfriend come home, I guess I found out why he was jealous of my pill draws the first 2 weeks. I guess his girlfriend just can't work the pill draw for us and help him out.
Hey,
He's always been in the back for the heat races, but hey, I mean, he's as long as he keeps his nose clean, Shay's gonna drive that 305 back up to the front no matter where he starts.
That's the real deal, man. If the pretty girl can't get the right pill draw, all of a sudden the ugliest guy on the crew is the person drawing that pill draw. So he's gonna have to get her figured out there. But Chris Roberts, third place here tonight, been on the podium, I believe, every race in the 305 season. So congratulations, my friend, and good luck going forward.
Yeah, thanks, AJ. That's like I've said. The 305s is a developmental deal. Help out the guys who struggle with 360s and 410s. And for the rest of us that are, handle those well or over the 3500 I rating or stuff. It's just come in and have some fun. So I've been having fun with it. Been on the podium all 3 weeks. I'd like to try and get that win, but I'm sure it'll come. But just gotta give a shout out to everybody who helps us put this on. Wicked Relief Gum with the Thursday night stuff. With the 410 305s, gotta give them a thanks. Wicked Energy Gum with the Wingless Wednesday deal, and then you got Tim Sims Dirt Track Simulators. He helps us out with the 360s on Tuesdays. He gave away prize packs to the top 3 in the 4 Crown points after that special event last night. So thanks to him for stepping up and doing that. Wicked Cushion Esports, Matt with Wicked Cushion. If you didn't see it posted earlier, if you use the DOB RL promo code at either Wicked Cushion, Wicked Energy Gum, Wicked CBD Gum, it's now 20% off. So it used to be 10, but now you'll get 20% off. So go ahead and help support our sponsors that support us and make it possible to bring this all to you, everybody out there. All the fans, all the drivers that continually come out and support us and watch. Thank you.
There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us this week. We will be back next week with more Dirty Old Bastards racing action. Hope to see you there. Thanks for hanging out with us here tonight, and we will talk to you next time. Later.